What's going on, guys? Look at where we're at SoFi Stadium. About to interview David Meltzer today, legendary entrepreneur, thought leader, motivational speaker. I'm super excited going into this interview. It's probably one of the biggest interviews I've ever done, so a little bit nervous, but also super excited, super confident, and I'm excited to see the value that I can bring and that David shares with you guys today. Welcome back to the Beige Mogul Show. Today we have probably one of the biggest moguls that has been on the show. We have David Meltzer. He is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing, inspired millions of people, spoke on some of the largest stages. It's an honor to have you on the show, David. Thank you for hopping on.
I am super excited, and thank you for the compliments. More importantly, meeting you and understanding what Beige does is extremely significant, because as much as you're building a marketplace in the most prominent needed area in business, which is content and community creation, my mission is based off of content and community creation, building an audience, a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. And your platform gives that an efficient place in the content creator space to provide a two-sided market. And I'm trying to do the same thing. My market is people who want to help each other and know people that can help each other, not just with content, editing, all types of different creatives, but in every aspect of life. I don't have necessarily a technology in the platform, but I do have relationships through the 35 years of building and creating and attracting the right people with the right ideas.
That's amazing. I appreciate your compliment in that regard. And that's exactly what I want to kick off this interview with, right? Your mission is to empower over 1 billion people. And now that is such a selfless yet transformational mission. It gives me chills as I'm talking about it. What is happiness to you?
It's so good, because it gave me chills when I thought of it. It actually came through me and was inspired by it. For me, happiness is the ability to enjoy. It's an experience, it's a feeling when we have learned to love something. Remember, all things have a perspective to it. It's an illusion. We all put and participate in a perception. So we want to enjoy by learning to love anything every day without quit in the pursuit of our truth, our potential. So in other words, learn to love what you do, say, think, feel, and believe. Learn to love what you do, say, think, feel, and believe of the things you don't like to do today, of the things you don't love to do today, of the things other people tell you can't do today, other people tell you they don't like or they don't love. Learn to love by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing in a divine direction, allowing for divine time, consistently every day, persistently without quit, in the pursuit of your truth, your potential. I promise you one thing, life will tell you all its secrets. That's how you get the cheat codes. That's how you level up. Yes, if you learn to love what you do, you won't work a day in your life. You know why? Because life is easy, not dis-easy, because you have all the cheat codes. I suck at Fortnite, but if you gave me all the cheat codes, I'd kick your ass.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what I do in life.
100%. So I want to go back to the very beginning. I've listened to a lot of your content, a lot of your interviews, and just learning the competitive household that you grew up in, right?
Academically competitive, not athletically.
Right, academically competitive. How important was your environment growing up in shaping your success and who you are?
Well, I think there's several things that are important, and one is environment. Surrounding yourself with the right people and the right ideas, and that was at a very high level growing up. I was surrounding myself with the right people like my mom, my grandparents, my siblings, who had extraordinary ideas. But you also have your genetic and energetic inheritance. And I have, like most people on earth, struggled to identify the clues, patterns, and choices that I've made that are inherent in my quantum being, that had nothing to do with the people or ideas that I was blessed to be around. So scarcity, genetically, energetically. I'm an overseller, a back-end seller, even a liar, a cheater, and a manipulator, genetically. So all of the fearful traumas that existed in my childhood, but probably beyond my childhood, if you believe like I do, in past lives, that I have inherited genetically and energetically, that's the environment in its totality that has allowed me to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything I do consistently, persistently, in the pursuit of my truth, my potential.
I love that. And, you have seen a lot of success in your, entrepreneurial journey early on, failures, successes. What did it feel like to make your first $1 million?
It may have been one of the greatest days of my life because I didn't know what I didn't know. When you really want something and you get it, it feels really good. But what I also have learned in the long run, that those great joys, those great accomplishments, they don't last long. What really has lasted in my life is the remembrance, the reconciliation, the recollection of what it took to get that first million. That's what I really enjoy today. But I will tell you honestly, because when I made that first million, that was my dream, because I could buy my mom a house and a car, and there was a little bit left over for me as well to pay off my law loans. Unfortunately, it took me a long time to learn that that great joy, one of the best days of my life, was not sustainable. And what was sustainable was the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of that $1 million that still sticks with me today, and I utilize to make even more money, help even more people, and have more fun than that one day that I still will tell you is one of the greatest days of my life.
I love that. And, the first thing you mentioned was being able to buy your mom a house. What did that feel like, as a son that has seen her go through so many struggles?
For me, it still is everything. I'm able to support my mom now. She's 80 years old. It's not a curse. It's not an obligation. It's my dream. And so to buy my mom a house was my dream. That's why it was so hard when I lost her house in my bankruptcy, because that was a nightmare. But it ended up being one of the greatest moments of my life, because I realized how and what I needed to learn in order to make my money back and to be a different person in making it back, and being a person who can be and help other people not pay the dummy tax that I had to pay and the pain that I had to struggle with in order to indicate that I had a better place to be, which is a great lesson in everything that I do. Through gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, we can be inspired.
Absolutely. And, it's fascinating to hear how you were able to lose and gain and regain, right? Tell us about that personal transformation. Who did David have to become after losing $100 million and gaining it all back?
That's beautiful that you said become, because I'm always looking at what can I become by taking stock in who I was and what I want to become. And what I learned was the relationship that I had with money. My identification was money. When I was worth over $100 million the first time, if my bank account went up $100, which you would think is not that significant, I would be excited. But at the end of the day, if I looked and my bank account was down $100, I'd be bummed. To understand that money is only valuable in the respect of what, for the sake of what. See, when I was working, as I was working, I call it activity I get paid for now. But when I was 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, trying to make my first million, which I did, right? I have the power of 64. It was 16 hours a day, twice as efficient, twice as effective. It gave me 64 hours of productivity a day. That's how I made so much money. I wasn't that good at what I did. I just did it consistently and persistently. Who I was and what I wanted to become was based off of the values I had, the practices, the behaviors that create the instant result of progress, and the execution of learning to execute better. Good behavior is defined by behavior that is doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing aligned with where you think you want to be or better, a divine direction in divine time. Bad behavior is a behavior that interferes with that divine direction. And so although the outcomes that exist today, you have no way of understanding or knowing how aligned it is with where you want to be or better. For example, I had no idea that one of the greatest moments of my life, and I sit here 16 years after it, was losing everything and telling my mom I lost her house. At that moment, I had no idea, understanding, or knowledge on the impact, the positive love, promotion, and protection that that moment has in my life. It's easy 16 years later. So what I try to do is share that perspective with people as these outcomes happen. I created a character called the Ferocious Buddha that says, hey man, You got to be ferocious every day. You got to do everything you can, say it, think it, feel it, believe it. Every single day, be ferocious and finding what you're doing aligned with the good behavior and what you're doing to interfere with it, the bad behavior. But you got to be a Buddha when it comes to the outcomes. Simple faith. You have to believe that this shit that's happening today, the struggles, the pain, the setback, the failures, the void, shortages, and obstacles today are for my betterment. And the only way you can believe that is faith. Wisdom will help you get there faster, but faith is required. It's not an option. If you don't have faith that there's something bigger than you, that loves you, protects you, and promotes you more than your mama, you ain't gonna get there, I promise you, because you are gonna be punished every day in your life when a negative or perceived bad outcome is occurring. When you get stopped at a red light, when you have a flat tire, it all becomes victimization instead of promotion and protection and love. If you don't have faith, I promise you, you're not gonna get there or better. If you have faith, you'll gather enough wisdom sooner or later to get to where you wanna be or better. I promise.
If there was one thing that you could tell yourself during that process when you found out you just lost $100 million, what would it be?
Ask for help. It's what I tell everyone. Everything I formulate is about finding the people that sit in the situation that you want to be in and ask them for help. That enables you what? To find other people who want to be where you're sitting and help them. So I met 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤, and we were talking about me doing a podcast and creating an Instagram account. And I said, I don't want to tell people I'm bankrupt because I'll lose all credibility. Nobody will ever take advice from me when they find out that I lost over $100 million, including my mom's house. Who's going to want to hear from me? It's the exact opposite. Everybody wants to know my advice now, because the lessons that were inherent in losing everything and being vulnerable, embracing vulnerability and saying, look, I surrounded myself with the wrong people, wrong ideas. I didn't ask for help. I'm extremely educated, academic, genetically and energetically inherited an extreme ability to use this big forehead of mine.
Right. And a lot of people, they don't have the humility, right, and to embrace their mistakes and to, confront their mistakes. One of the greatest, most profound teachings was from a wise old man, and it was humility is the key to success. And I seeing and meeting you in the flesh and just seeing how much humility has played a role in your life. What can you say about, how humility has helped you?
So humility is annoying. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. And it's annoying to yourself, because if you want to be humble, you have to do two things that are extremely annoying. One, you have to be honest. And it hurts. It hurts to be honest to yourself. I'm not talking about being hard on yourself. I'm talking about not lying to yourself. The second annoying thing is you have to be repetitive, because you have to be consistent. And it sucks. It's annoying to have to do the same thing over and over again in order to peel each layer of awareness in order to make what? Life easy, not dis-easy. And so for me, I embrace annoying, and not only annoying for myself, but for my family, my friends, my associates, for interviews. I'm annoying. Why? Because I tell the truth as much as I can. I'm human, so I lie and interfere with it at times, but just for minutes and moments, not for days, weeks, months, and years. But I also am as repetitive as F. And that annoys people. But the reason I'm repetitive is I know the only way to get you and me to where we want to be or better is to continue to repeat consistently the data that's necessary in order to help us accelerate towards where we want to be, aggregate those people involved to get us there, and give us exponentiality of outcomes in order to learn the lessons, find the light, and find the love in everything we do.
Absolutely. David, what is your definition of being a mogul?
I love that. For me, a mogul is somebody that is passionate, purposeful, and profitable. And if you are passionate, purposeful, and profitable, then you are a mogul. A mogul not only has those for himself or herself, it's someone that is empowering other people to do the same.
Wow, that's profound. Just based on your legacy and everything you've accomplished, I would say you're quite the mogul yourself. So what do you think are the key things that have helped you become the mogul that you are today?
One is I practice my values. I have 4 values I practice every day. One is to be grateful. So it gives me a perspective of finding the light, the love, and the lessons, everything, everyone. 2, to be forgiving. So I have empathy to give me ease in my life, to help me identify the dis-ease. 3, I'm accountable. In 3 levels of accountability, to find the light, the love, and the lessons, I ask myself, what did I do to be responsible for this? What did I do to attract this? What am I doing to participate in the perception of this? And what am I supposed to learn? And then finally, the 4th value, effective communication. Communicating not only with other people to reduce or dissipate the dis-ease, but with the source, the God, the Jesus, the Muhammad, the Buddha, the Joseph Smith, whatever you believe in. My faith, I'm communicating with the omniscient, all-powerful, and all-knowing to determine what I'm doing to interfere with it. The second thing is have daily practices. You need to be consistent and persistent. You got to have daily practices that incorporate your non-negotiables and the activity you have planned and unplanned, and especially your sleep. Sleep drives me crazy. I want to be in the Hall of Fame of sleep. 1/3 of my life is spent sleeping. I want to be the best recovery person and the best person to access the information from the source to transcend into each day. I want to be productive, accessible, and gracious in those daily practices. And then finally, I want to be clear every day on my execution model. Attention to that execution and give it the intention of doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing in the divine direction and the divine time of where I want to be. If you want to have that holistic approach to life, you need to know your values and practice them. You need to have daily practices to be consistent and persistent, and you need to execute on them. Sitting at home, high on your mom's couch, sick, broke, and dreaming about what you want is not going to get you there or better. You actually have to be ferocious with the activities as well and execute on those.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people nowadays, right? Seeing other big role models as yourself that want to start entrepreneurship, that want to take a leap on that new venture, that they may want to start a new business, start a new company, whatever it is. How do they get started?
Well, a few ways. 1, you find someone that's already there and ask them for help. And then 2, determinative upon your own day, make sure that you allot the dependent variable of all matter called time. So if you want to get something started, lower the bar and give it a minimum amount of time every day that you are going to pursue your potential of that activity, that job, that business, subject matter, topic, or expertise. And so within the context of asking for help, use time as your dependent variable, and then each day go and make sure that you're giving a minimum of 10 minutes, a minimum of an hour, a minimum of 2 hours. And that is for anyone that wants to build side hustles, or they want to explore new experiences, personal relationships, they want to give more or receive more. Use time as a dependent variable in order to effectuate anything new in your life, but you got to do it every day. Because if you do it every day, you're taking advantage of the physics of time and of attention, which is that you get an aggregate in an exponentiality by doing something every day. I'm not an off-the-grid guy at all, not for the non-negotiables, not for what's most important for you. I believe that you have a zeroing effect that is not utilizing the conscious continuum or physics, quantum physics, or metaphysics if you're not consistent in what you do.
Right. Absolutely. I have one final question for you, David. It's a very vulnerable moment for me because, with my startup Beige, I've built all this traction, but I really feel like I need a huge push right now with where we're at. And you're a big proponent of asking for help. Would you be open to considering a partnership with Beige to a certain extent, and finding ways that Beige could be a value for you? And
I already know it's a value not just for me, but for my huge community. And so there's such a demand for that marketplace. People don't know where to go to find the right talent, to find the right budget. And the people who, especially creatives that are, really talented, they don't know how to get business. Whether it's the artist problem, the lawyer problem, the doctor problem, whenever you're creative, a healer, the problem is if you spend so much time on that side of your brain that you don't understand how to actually be of service and of value, or even worse, articulate that value. So it's so important for Beige to provide the opportunity for a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other, and to get that alignment of the value. Your marketplace gives people more of what they like and takes away what they don't like when it comes to content creation. And I absolutely, on video, would love to be a channel partner, an affiliate, and also an advisor to you and the company in order to effectuate the acceleration, aggregation, and compounding of the success that you're already experiencing. Does that sound fair?
Sounds amazing. I feel, last thing I'll say is, I feel just growing up a block away, on Myrtle Avenue in Inglewood, California, right? Kind of always just being misunderstood by my immigrant parents from Bangladesh, dropping out of college and just having so much to prove, meeting you right down the block for me in this mega moment. It's just so humbling, and I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. And straight out of Compton, we're here at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, $5.5 billion stadium. It's amazing what you can manifest, and I know that you can manifest anything you desire, my friend. So thanks for having me, and I'm glad to be a part of the Beige team, so thank you.
And that is my interview with the one and only David Meltzer. What a legendary man, sharing so much wisdom with us about so many different topics. I'm so excited to unveil and share this episode with you guys. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts. Thanks so much.